FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
Yes, sir! It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportsstar.com. Happy New Year, everybody. We are back, baby. I'm your host from 12 to 2, James Pledger producing this show. My man Rob Thompson co-hosting today with an Aggie cap. And he says there on Facebook Live that no, he is not Joe Reinagle.
No, I'm not.
Is there like an announcement that needs to be made here?
You're welcome to. We did talk about it yesterday or this morning. Joe Reinagle is a brand new San Antonio Sports Star member. Today he debuts sitting in Jason Minnick's kitchen as the Blitz is reborn yet again.
In his kitchen.
We are so excited about this. Yeah, we are distanced here at the Star. Since you are a lone wolf, you get to come into the studio, you and the productions. And Jason and Joe will be in this kitchen for the next couple of days until we can get our newly engineered, socially distanced studio redone, which we expect to have done on Wednesday. But we're so excited. Joe Reinagle premieres today at 4 o'clock on the Blitz. This will be his new gig. He is a star. He's a San Antonio sports star. We're excited. Yeah, it's a big day.
And Joe Reinagle is somebody that I've known for over 20 years. I worked with him over at Ken's back in the day.
Well, you're dating yourself and me and Minnick's. Minnick's and Joe work together. Keep in mind, Joe is only the second guy to sit on that Ken sports desk in the history of that whole channel. They've had two guys.
Oh, him and Dan Cook. Yeah, dating myself.
That's it.
Dan Cook used to take my money back in the day. Back when I worked at Ken's in my early 20s and the late 90s, he would come up to me and say, "Hey, you want to play these games?" And he would play like who could throw a quarter closest to the wall, and the one who could get it closest would win the money, right? He would take about $2 or $3 a day off of me. He would set up like a little mini golf inside the newsroom, and 3 holes, and he'd beat me every time. I never beat him once.
The stories of Dan Cook's exploits are far away from the paper.
Yeah,
or the sports desk are far better than anything he ever accomplished on the desk or in the media, because he's a legend on both sides of the coin.
Agreed.
Yeah, Dan Cook, he and Joe Reinagle. I mean, you talk about pillars of San Antonio sports history.
Yeah,
a quarter century sitting on that desk, and he'll be sitting across with Jason Minnick's now. That's 50 years. What do you figure?
Yeah.
50 years plus of media experience in San Antonio, and only in San Antonio, as we are your local station. We ain't sitting anyplace else. We're right here in San Antonio.
I knew something was going down. Something was up when Reinagle started going after me on Twitter. He was just like jabbing at me. Like, what do you mean about this? And I'm like, man, Reinagle, you've never gone after me. But over the course of the last 6 weeks or so, more and more often, he is on my Twitter account, just making fun of tweets that I make and just contradicting what I'm saying. And I cannot wait to spar with him on the radio. I want
he
that.
Is fair game.
I want
fair
that.
game. He is on the team, and he's the rook. He's
yeah,
gonna have to carry the bags.
I have tenure here.
You have one rung of the ladder. You are right ahead of him, but RHIP. So there you have it.
Very nice. Welcome to halftime. Again, we go from 12 to 2. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. All you have to do is search for San Antonio Sports Star, like and subscribe. You can follow along, watch the show, leave a comment or two. We'd be happy to talk to you. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are also open at 656-ESPN. Big show today. Obviously, we're talking about the Cowboys. Cowboy fans, how you feeling today? Big loss yesterday to the Arizona Cardinals, 25-22. You know what? Big. You know what? I think big for fan psyche, maybe even for player psyche, but we'll get into that. At 12:30, let's talk about a couple of things. Becky Hammond, DeMar DeRozan. Let's talk about 2 topics here that Spurs fans, we're kind of bittersweet right now. That's the way to describe us. 12:45, we got to get into Cobra Kai. Season 4 debut this weekend. I binged it all.
How far did you get into it?
I saw it all.
You and James both. I only got 1 episode in. Now, the one was good. It's a nice start, but I don't have the full. What is it? 8 episodes? It's
10 episodes.
Oh, you're going to have to give me a couple days on this one.
At 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, we have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs going to preview the Raptors game tonight against the Spurs. Spurs lost 3 in a row, has something in common. No DeJounte Murray. But we'll talk about the Spurs, obviously, even more at 1 o'clock. But welcome to halftime. Rob, it's a new year, my man. It is a brand new year. You started out already making fun of me because I sent a text message out yesterday about how Taysom Hill threw a touchdown pass. You guys have this group chat that you've had for a long time. I finally get added onto it like a week ago. Finally, I get added onto it. I've only been here for like 3 months.
I only asked you to download WhatsApp like 3 months ago.
Hey, man, it wasn't us. It was you, my brother. We tried.
And then now I'm being criticized because I make 2 or 3 comments, one of them being that my man, my quarterback, Taysom Hill, threw a touchdown pass like yesterday.
Oh, okay. No,
And you're
we
like-
have to give the proper background to the story.
Okay.
Now, in the vacuum as which you just told it, you're in the absolute right. In the actual factual world, where the sky is blue, this is what was going on. So everybody on the group text was talking about the Cowboys and how bad things were going, and it was one thing or another, back and forth. And then out of right field comes just this one thing from a menace, a hand grenade thrown into the midst of the Cowboy bitching. Taysom Hill threw a touchdown pass. And it all went quiet on the text thing, and everybody was like, who cares?
Well, I thought
What?
I was looking forward to the Saints winning yet another game without scoring a touchdown. Would that be the first time since like leather helmets that had happened? Because they beat the Bucs 9-0. Yesterday, they were up like 12-7 at one point. And I was thinking to myself, it's going to happen again. But Taysom Hill had that touchdown pass, which really wasn't a touchdown pass. I mean, technically he threw it, but Kamara had a lot of yak on that play. So good times. But what you're saying is that my team is still alive for the
Yes.
NFC playoffs. My
By the
team
chin
with
of-
no quarterback is still alive.
It again is a testament to Sean Payton. I mean, there's some guys can coach, and there's Sean Payton who'll beat you with his team. Then you switch teams, he'll beat you with your team. I mean, he's that good.
And if Vegas has its way, because I just saw the week 18 lines, they believe the Saints are going in, even though ESPN says that it's a 38% chance. But for the Saints to make the playoffs, they have to beat the Falcons on the road, which isn't easy. The Falcons aren't a good team, but that's a rivalry game right there. And the 49ers have to lose to the Rams in LA. So you're saying there's a chance.
Not just a chance, that's almost a probability there.
I like
Because
it.
the reason the Saints can win with just field goal kicking is the defense is solid.
It's
Falcons ain't that offense ain't that much.
It's a healthy defense. It's crazy. But
Yeah.
hey, right now, this is our first show back in 2 weeks. It was funny. I was listening to your show this morning, R&R, and I got onto the part where you guys were making fun of me. And then you said, hey, Jimenez will be here at 12 o'clock for halftime. And I was like, oh my God, I have a show today. It clicked that it's been 2 weeks. And we've had Christmas. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. New Year's. What did you do for New Year's Eve?
Sat in a deer blind.
Really?
Mhm.
Got it. Just drinking and killing things.
I killed a coyote.
Really?
But didn't do much.
Wasn't wearing a
It was
number 2
socially
jersey.
No, those keep coming back. That would need he needs to be taken care of. No, I didn't do much. This was but it seemed like everybody had a very low key.
Well, see, did everybody? Because I haven't talked to Pledge at all. Okay, normally I talk to Pledge all the time. We text each other all the time.
Pledge was off the grid, man.
He was off the grid. He was not on Facebook, not on Instagram, not on Twitter much. So I don't know, but I feel that this is going to be the part of the conversation where Pledge says, dude, I went out and I just had a huge night. Lots of drinks were flowing, lots of shots, hot women everywhere. I picture this happening as being part of the conversation. Pledge, were there hot women everywhere, and were you at least 0.1?
I was surrounded by females and a place that offered alcoholic beverages. And
You
kept
were at
them
a
flowing.
bar.
Oh, I was not. I was at this place called Secret Group Room.
Really? Why do I?
It is some kind of club in Houston, and we got like 10 bottles of champagne.
I picture red black lights, leather everywhere.
There were some
This
red
was one
lights.
of those eyes wide shut.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
The people walking around in masks going on here. What kind of party is this?
Were keys put into a fishbowl?
No. No, that didn't happen.
So yeah,
You're gonna have to expand on
exactly.
this party. Keep going.
I mean, there was a rooftop bar there. There was indoor balloon
What was the name
drop.
of it again?
Secret
the name?
group room.
The secret group room. And how do you get invited to the secret group room?
That you got to know people.
Was it a speakeasy? Did you have to go like to a back alley and like have a certain door knock to get in?
I mean, it was in Midtown.
Midtown Houston.
I don't know what that implies, but there was a time I think I'd have been really jealous. Now I'm not. Now I don't think I'm up for it.
Yeah,
I'd have to train for a couple of weeks
I'm
to
just
prepare myself to.
Oh, I had a great time. I went out on the golf course the day before, visited an old buddy out in Katy. Then we went out to Midtown. Then we came home and started getting ready for actual New Year's Eve that next day. Went to a pre-party. And
pre-party.
Yeah.
See, Rob, I remember being that guy back in the day. I used to be very extroverted. Rob doesn't know this
back in
about
the
me.
day,
You don't know this about me, Rob. I used to be Pledge. Pledger and I, we're
Well, we
kindred
all
spirits
used to
because
be that.
yeah. And
We all you, but none of us have managed to carry it to our 40s. That's
that's
the
exactly it.
impressive part of this. I lost that ability decades
So
before
so
Pledge has.
I had a very exciting New Year's Eve. It consisted of me and my wife watching Cobra Kai, about 4 or 5 episodes, and around 9:30 looking at each other saying, just want to go to bed?
You didn't want to see the shows, the
The rockin' 2022 shows or whatnot. Dick Clark died, and at that point, I just didn't want to do it, man.
I heard that what's her face lost her top.
Who is that again? What singer was that?
you're acting like
Oh, it
I
was-
was at home
with-
It was
watching.
Miley
TV.
Cyrus. It was Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I heard that there was some kind of live uniform malfunction.
Yeah, I don't believe in these malfunctions, man. I don't buy it at all. But no, I was in bed by 9:30, and then it sounded like a scene from Apocalypse Now in the background around midnight. And I looked over at my wife and I said, "I guess it's midnight." Gave her a quick kiss, went back to sleep, and
Wow, I'd heard that it was pretty low key from just about everybody I know. But just about everybody I know has some sort of COVID and positive thing in their house.
yeah,
so
I think it was
it
just
seemed like.
complete laziness for us. But
Yeah, I think. At what point last week did you not know what day it was?
it's a very.
When did it finally land that you really had no concept of time or day?
I would say immediately after Christmas, I quit caring what day it was. The
So
radio
it's been a
station
week.
was
So you had a
closed.
week of not knowing what day. That's like being in purgatory. I don't like the. I always feel like I should be doing something.
It's fun in theory, and it's fun for a couple of days. It's kind of like
Why
going to
waste some
Vegas.
time?
It's like going to Vegas. You want to go to Vegas for 2 or 3 days, but once you go to day 4 and 5, you just can't
Yeah.
do it anymore. And we're
4
just
days is max.
we're just triggered right now to want to do things. My business was shut down. My radio show was shut down. Family didn't want to get together because of COVID or whatever the
Right.
case may be. It was just, I was just binging Succession over and over again. I'm on season 3 right now. Great show, by the way. Great show. But you know what wasn't a good show? That NFL game yesterday involving the Cardinals and Cowboys. Cowboys down 25-22. Again,
I give that transition a good solid 6.
it was the
He
first. It was
swung
my
for the
first one
fences.
back. It was my first one
It
back.
was a good
man.
one, man. I'll give it to you though.
You
man.
know,
That was a good solid 6.
Sometimes I bring the A game, but right now, man, I'm like a lawnmower that hasn't been started in 4 months.
Man,
take a couple balls.
Respect, man. You don't normally get that right out of the gate. Normally that takes a couple days to get warmed up. So that was a solid 6. Nice.
Jonathan
There we
C
go.
on
Thanks,
YouTube. Nice segue. Sometimes I hit it hard, man. Sometimes I get it good, and it's normally with Rob, man. I'm like the king of segues with Rob. But that was I want to take that one back, man. I'll
No, man. A 6 out of the gate. Respect.
Anyway, Cowboys lose 25-22 to the Cardinals. Everyone, the sky is falling. Oh my God. The Cowboys haven't beaten a 10-win team. Dak didn't look good. The defense didn't look good. Zerline needs glasses, apparently. all these different things coming out right now. And guess what's going to happen, Joe? I see Joe. What's going to happen, Rob? What's going to happen? The Cowboys are going to beat the Cardinals in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think that you made that's a point that has to be considered before we look into the many issues that were there. I do believe that the Cowboys looked at the possibilities of where they could land. And number 2 was certainly possible. I mean, but some other things had to work for them.
Yeah.
Worst case is where they are. 4th place at home, taking on the very team that you're playing this week. I have a full game plan for sure. But if I see some plays that might work, and then I see some plays that if I would have called them, definitely would have worked, you're not going to see those. That's both on offense and on defense. So you're coming in with me putting 80% of my playbook?
Yeah.
65, 70%. So that, I think, is a valid reason for what we saw.
Now, the Cowboys had something to play for, though. They were still playing for the 2 seed.
I think that they looked at the possibilities. They had to win. Other things had to happen. I mean, it wasn't – this is the most likely of landing spots. I think we could have all agreed even before the game.
I disagree because I think the Cowboys
–
Cowboys could have gotten a 2 or 3 seed and just win out. Chances are they would have gotten either the 2 or the 3. And so they had something to play for.
Probably the 2 if they'd have won out.
My thing about it is this. I find 2 things about this. I don't think the sky is falling because I don't think the Cardinals are good enough to go into Dallas and beat the Cowboys twice in 3 weeks. I don't think the Cowboys are bad enough to lose that game twice in 3 weeks. It just is what it is, and playoff football is different. What concerned me, though, about the Cowboys was really early in the game. It seemed like the Cardinals knew exactly what the Cowboys were doing when they were in certain formations. Budda Baker almost had a pick 6 really early on. And that right there, they knew, hey, Cowboys are doing wide receiver screens right here. Cowboys are doing running back screens to the left. They know what they're doing based on what they're lining up, on how the Cowboys are lining up. And that is what concerned me about yesterday's game more than anything else, more than the loss, more than Zerline missing a kick, more than all of these things that happened yesterday. It was the fact that the Cowboys appear to be predictable to certain defenses.
Well, isn't that what you would expect if you were coming in with a third of your playbook in reserve? Now, I'm not saying they tanked the game. I'm not saying that there was any attempt not to go win the game. But I do believe that there were things that we probably would have seen if the game meant something that we didn't see. So with that being said, let's put that to a side because there's lots of things to be concerned about. They got to be able to run the football. This was a team that when we talked to McCarthy back in July and into August, he said this was a team that was put together to win playoff games on the road in the winter. We were a running football team first. That was the plan. And for a while, we saw that. That's gone. And the numbers that, James, I don't have them in front of me, but the numbers show that since the slump, since Dak got hurt, the running game is awful, and it reflects in so many different other parts of the offense. And it comes down to what we were told we were going to see. We're just not seeing it. Now, why? Lots of reasons, I assume, and some excuses. But the fact of the matter is, they don't fix that. I agree with you with the Cardinals thing, but that's it for them. They get one playoff win. If they can't find a way to win on the road, and that's going to be on the ground, I don't see how they progress.
Now, truth be
told,
told,
the numbers?
Those numbers are since week 9, when Dak Prescott returned from his calf injury, the Dallas Cowboys are 26th in the NFL in yards per game rushing with 98.
98 yards? Shoot.
Per game.
Shoot.
Zeke Elliott needs 85 yards to get to 1,000 for the year.
Does he?
85 yards. And that's with one extra game. Truth be told, if Dak was handing the ball off to the best running back on that team, he'd be giving it to Tony Pollard. He wouldn't be giving it to Zeke. Tony Pollard, if you want to run that ball, if you want to improve the running game and make the team more dynamic, I'm sorry, that loyalty to Zeke needs to go away. He needs to be running back too.
RB2, RB1, you got 2 running backs. I'm not going to take Zeke ain't what he was, but he ain't bad. It's a commitment thing for me. It's an idea that you're willing to sacrifice a couple of series in the first half for dividends in the second. And it's a mindset kind of thing. It's one of those, as an offensive coordinator, you have to just decide, you know what, this series, I'm going to battering ram that defensive end, and I'm going to keep pounding that defensive end until he can't take it anymore. And I might have to bring out anger and punt a couple of times. But you know what? That's not the worst thing in the world. My defense isn't that bad. And I think sometimes we swing for the fences too much and forget. Commit to the run, and it will pay dividends. But I will give it a pass maybe for a game because yesterday was the first time we'd seen that offensive line together in weeks, months. So maybe that's enough. But what we saw yesterday does not bode well for the playoffs past the Cardinals. Can the Cardinals come to the stadium to Kyler's home stadium, I guess, and win twice in a row in a matter of 2 weeks? No, I just can't imagine. And if it does, then the right people will be released. The things will happen appropriately because that will be a humongous embarrassment to everybody involved with this season.
Now, Rob, I made the bold prediction on this show, on the last show that we had for 2021, that the Cowboys, at the very least, would make the NFC Championship game. And I still stand by that. Because here's the thing. If the Cowboys can somehow win on Saturday night against the Eagles and not be the 4 spot, they're going to get to the NFC Championship game. Now, it will be difficult if they're the 4 seed because eventually they'll have to play.
Are you going to qualify this with? Are you going to say certain things have to happen?
No.
Get to the NFC Championship game.
Well, no. If they're the 4 spot, if they stay at the
2 turnovers a game,
if they stay at the 4 spot, they're going to be bounced in the second round by the Packers in Lambeau. But if they get to 2 or 3, I think they'll make their way through. No, of course they will, man. Who's going to beat them? The Rams. The Rams. I mean, come on, man. I do not trust the quarterback play for the Rams. I do not trust Stafford, and the Rams barely beat the Ravens, who were playing with a backup quarterback.
No, I think you misunderstood me. I think second or fourth, they're going to have to prove they're going to have to win on the road. I mean,
right.
To me, it doesn't matter who they're playing.
Well, the first game they have is a home game, right? So I think they can win a home game. The second game, though, I think they could beat a Bucs team. I think they can beat a Rams team simply because, I mean, the Bucs Bucs had to have a miracle finish to beat the Jets last night. So because of that, let's not pretend like the Rams are playing well or the Bucs are playing well either, right? I mean, these teams that we were talking about all year long, the Packers, the Rams, the Bucs, the Cowboys, the Cards, only one of them has been playing well the past month, and that's the Packers.
Yes, I'm not arguing this at all. If the Cowboys play their typical defense, they're 1-3 in games where they get fewer than 2 turnovers, whatever that number is. They get turnovers, they win football games. We just need more at bats. That's all that matters. And I don't care whether they're at home or on the road. They get turnovers. This team turns you over. I'm not worried about yards given up. I'm almost not even worried about points. I'm just worried about if they get a couple more at bats, this team rolls downhill. Once they start rolling downhill, this is a team that runs off the momentum that McCarthy chases every part of his game. When he calls, he's chasing momentum. And once they get it, they do not let it go. And we saw the epitome of that against Washington. And we saw the other side of the coin yesterday. They tried everything they could to find some kind of offensive, defensive momentum and couldn't get it. And it was a choppy, ugly football game. Good news is they uglied up a pretty good offense. The bad news is that offense really didn't have anything to work with other than Kyler, except the kid from Steel, which is fantastic. But, other than that, the Cowboys, if they get turnovers, win football games.
Exactly.
If they don't have the offense not to win. So I don't care if they're on the road or at home. They manufacture turnovers, they win games. It's just, I saw what they did, and then I watched Green Bay, and I thought the separation between what the Cowboys are right now and what Green Bay is right now is like Alabama, Georgia, and the rest of college football. Like, we are so far away from the completeness that I see in Green Bay.
I completely agree, but it's been more than a decade since Aaron Rodgers has won a Super Bowl. We'll talk more about the Cowboys at 1:30. Pledge, let's get some headlines in. The 411 and the 210.
Here's the 411 in the 210. Headline 2.
Speaking of that Tampa Bay Jets game, Buccaneers wide receiver Antonio Brown erupted in frustration with visitors on the sideline at MetLife Stadium yesterday, leaving the field in the third quarter after ripping off his pads and jersey. Source told ESPN that Brown was not benched. He quit and that Brown did not fly home on the team charter, instead taking an Uber from the stadium. Another report states that Brown said he was too injured to return, which is why he didn't go back into the game. Bucks head coach Bruce Arians said Arians, quote, he is no longer a Buck, end quote.
This playing out on Twitter in real time was amazing. Seeing these photos of him calling for an Uber and waiting for the car to arrive, and him, I mean, everything that you saw from the stands, right? From when he took his jersey off to him doing jumping jacks in the end zone and all that. The theatrics, amazing. I love it. Haven't seen anything like this since Terrell Owens. There may be some legitimate excuses here as far as maybe there was an injury and whatnot, if that is the case, okay? But the fact of the matter is the optics are bad for him, and no one's going to pay attention to him.
Oh, he's done.
Yeah.
The football career is done. But what bothers me about this is he is obviously in the middle of a crisis of some sort, whether it's physical, mental. That's a crisis moment. What we saw was abnormal by any measure, even for him. But to defend it after what we saw, to hear Tom Brady go, we really need to reach out and help him. No, what Antonio Brown needs right now is ramifications. He never does to deal with any negative. If he doesn't like it, he cheats and lies to get away from it. How many times has he had people that worked for him he didn't pay? He had a fake Vax card. Had a fake Vax card. I mean, over and for the first thing we hear after that was not, oh my God, that is the worst bit of. I've never seen anything like, and I haven't seen anything like that on an NFL field ever.
Let's hope he saves some money.
He needs help. He don't need help. He needs ramifications is what he needs, and then we'll give you some help.
All right, Judge Smales from Caddyshack. The world needs ditch diggers too.
Well, dude, you don't get to be a football player now. It's over.
It is over. He was 3 bonuses away that totaled $1 million. He needed one more touchdown pass. He needed like 60 yards and a few more receptions, and he could have gotten an extra $1 million. Let's hope he saved money. Let's hope he gets some help. But maybe he doesn't need help. Maybe he's just a bad guy. We'll never know.
But ramifications, man. There needs to be something that you have to pay a price for your idiocy. Maybe he'll finally get it. Certainly embarrassing.
Yep.
Taking a look at our next headline, the College Football National Championship is set as we'll see Georgia take on Alabama on Monday night, a week from today. The Crimson Tide crushed Cincinnati 27-6, while Georgia decimated Michigan 34-11, which set up the rematch of the SEC title game in which Bama won 41-24.
Georgia gonna win this game, and that's gonna be the exciting part because, man, this bowl season has been an absolute snooze fest. Even the Rose Bowl, to me, was a snooze fest. I don't like watching.
Man, no, the Rose Bowl was the only one that motivated me to stay with it for all 4 quarters.
It was more entertaining because there were a lot of points being put on the board, but it was still bad football, man.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I agree with that. There was only one compelling bowl game, and that was it.
Moving on.
Headline 0.
And lastly, Texas A&M just can't stop adding 5-star recruits as not Joe Reinagle decked in his A&M hat shows. Outside linebacker Harold Perkins, the number 5 overall recruit for 2022, committed to the Aggies on Sunday during the All-American practices. Perkins is the 3rd top 5 recruit and 4th 5-star prospect to join Texas A&M's 2022 class.
They're going to get another one. I hear that there's a defensive lineman that's going to commit here in the next couple of days. That will be another 5-star. This is ridiculous.
This is absolutely impressive. Now, what I think about the Aggies, when they moved over from the Big 12 to the SEC, they had a big splash. They won right away. That's not something that's going to happen to Longhorns. I'm sorry, the Longhorns are going to struggle for a while before they start winning in the SEC. A&M, though, I mean, I'm proud of what they've done. I mean, how they went to the SEC, started winning, created a new culture, and having Big Brother come join them over time. This is great, but let's see if this can turn into a 10-win season. It's been a while.
It better
It better be. But good things are happening over there. They have the coaching. They have the fandom. They have the conference. Good things going to happen in Aggieland.
They the remarkable thing with this, and from any perspective as an Aggie, it's just amazing. Not surprising, but amazing.
Yeah.
Is that they are still signing defensive players, even though the DC Elko, the guy who was the mastermind of this defense, is leaving.
Gone.
That's when you have reached an echelon of coaching and recruiting, the likes of which there's only 3 or 4 schools out there that can survive that. And, this has been a perfect storm for A&M, and it is extraordinary. But you had to have things like OU suddenly without a coach. You had to have things like LSU, our neighbors and our primary rivals for most of these players. It had to have these kind of things happen to bring in a class.
Geographic rival.
Yeah, I mean, literally, those guys were waiting in the driveway as our coaches walked out. They were going in.
Right.
I mean, those guys shared the recruiting trail with the same coaches. They were at the same games. They talked to them over and over. So it took a perfect storm, the likes of which you just don't see very often. And credit to Jimbo for being there, waiting for the crumbs, waiting for those 5 stars that suddenly were left without. And then let me also throw in Clemson, who has kind of fallen by the wayside too. So suddenly 3 primary rivals for a lot of these 5 stars were no longer options. So in defensive, well, not defense, but in trying to figure out how this happened, those are one of the primary reasons. We'll take it though.
That's the 411 and a 210.
I've gone from being very proud to be very happy. I was proud, then I was happy, and now I'm just beating my head against the table whenever I see DeMar DeRozan hit a game winner. Whenever I see Becky Hammond move off to better things. When we come back, let's talk about DeRozan, Becky Hammond, all these bittersweet things that Spurs fans have to talk about. And are we really, really happy for them? This is Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM, and we're on the go at sasportstar.com.
Their games. And there are games. Welcome to a whole new season of the NBA, right here on ESPN Radio. Get the latest news, moves, analysis, and more. The NBA plays here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Nigel, you look filthy. What are you covered in? This is the greatest quarter moon marketing idea. Yeah, but you're getting funk all over my desk, Nigel. Did you fall in the swamp? My name is Mike Robiel. Mike who? Robiel, as in microbial growth. Folks, no one likes allergens, irritants, pollutants, and yes, disgusting microbial growth in your home's air. Call us at 651-5899 and we'll install an air purifier directly into your existing AC system. You'll have cleaner air and it'll kill 99.8% of microbial growth. And for a limited time with your air purifier purchase, you'll receive a free heat check of your system. It helps with allergies, asthma, and getting rid of all those nasty things that invade your home. Like me, Mike Robio. Nigel, I don't know when you have time to come up with these marketing ideas. Usually when I'm not working. So between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., huh? You know me so well. Give me a hug. Where you going?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M13229, DACLA 000743458.
Exergen would like you to know about an important new study by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has always known. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate, and they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. With new strains of COVID on the rise, we can't afford to tolerate rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Yes, Miss Tubbs. No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
The custodial team is not
Someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
With the Peloton bike, there's always something new to try. We're adding new music to our artist series, new disciplines like boxing.
Fight your way through. Let's make it count.
So many new workouts to try on and off the bike.
Let's go, Peloton family.
There's always something new to keep you motivated. For a limited time, get a $550 value on the Peloton Bike Plus. $300 off plus free delivery and setup, a $250 value. All access membership separate. Limited time offer until January 9, 2022. Free delivery only available in continental U.S. Terms apply.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Red 80! Broadcasting live from the 50-yard line. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The national championship is set as Alabama will face Georgia for the college football national playoff championship. Kickoff is Monday at 7 p.m. Welcome back to halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. My name's Michael Jimenez. James Pledger producing this show. Rob Thompson is my co-host today. We're going until 2 o'clock. Rob, I want to talk about DeMar DeRozan here. I'm a huge Spurs fan. No matter what people tell you on Twitter, I'm a huge Spurs fan. And I was so happy for DeMar DeRozan all season long up until this weekend where I'm starting to get jealous.
Why? Because he gets a little success? You're not happy for him anymore?
A little success was fine. A little success was nice. It was like, oh, man, he's doing good things in Chicago. Look at that. He's considered
to be successful then.
Yeah, I want him to be happy and successful, but not super successul.
Gotcha.
He had a game winner against the Pacers this weekend, a 27-footer at the buzzer. Sweet. And overnight, he went from being a 70-1 odd chance to being the MVP to 28-1, now fifth, according to Vegas, fifth best odds. And I'm looking at it going, okay, now I'm getting a little bit jealous. What am I missing here? I mean, in retrospect, should the Spurs have handed that huge contract to him? Or is it just one of those things where I'm a little bit flustered because part of me thinks, well, why wasn't he that good with the Spurs? Was he mismanaged here? Was the talent not good enough for him here? I'm just a little bit perplexed about this whole thing, and it's just starting to eat away at me.
Well, first, he wasn't mismanaged. He's better now. He's a better player today than he was when he got here, coming from Toronto. He's a more well-rounded basketball player.
Yeah,
but his situation's different. He
has better
He
teammates.
Was the guy with the Spurs. So when it came to the end of the game, when we had those rare situations where we were in a place to win it with a shot, who else was going to get it? So when he got it, it was not only we know DeMar's going to get it, you're going to be defended, but then a double team is coming. In Chicago, he's got Zach LaVine on one side. He's got a Ball brother on the other side. Yeah. He's got a big waiting down low. There's no double teams coming. Life is easier now in Chicago, and he's a better baller. So those two things combined, I think he's in a good situation. I'm happy for the brother.
I'm happy for him too.
He paid his price, man. He got sentenced to San Antonio. He was the old man. And what was the old saying about Dean Smith? That Dean Smith was the only guy who could hold Michael under 20. Well, Pop's the only guy that can hold DeMar under 25. I mean, it's just a better situation for him.
It's just one of those things. It's like an amicable breakup, right? We're all on good terms. I don't hate you. You don't hate me. But then they just really blow up on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just one of those things where I'm happy for him. He did a great job in San Antonio. Never badmouthed the city, the organization, the team. He seemed to be a good teammate for the Spurs. It was just one of those things where I'm looking over there going, well, he didn't do that over here. That's a different move. That's a different technique. That is all just different, and I'm getting jealous. And because I wanted the youth movement to happen, now I'm thinking to myself, was it possible for the youth movement to happen with him there, or was it just not possible at all? So
this had to happen. We wouldn't, and sadly, as we sit losing 3 straight and losing to a terrible G League Detroit team in overtime. DeMar would have made a huge difference, but there's other things in play here.
Now,
this is a sad part of the Spurs history that it just didn't work out.
A sad part of Spurs history also happened last week when Becky Hammond decided that it was time to leave the Spurs. Now, she hasn't left the bench yet, but she's leaving in the offseason to go be the head coach in the WNBA for the Las Vegas Aces, formerly the San Antonio Silver Stars. And I will tell you what, I was upset. I mean, I was borderline angry last week when the news came down. It was expected. I knew it was going to happen. There were rumblings about this. She was giving interviews about this. And it's obvious that she was never going to be the heir apparent.
Yeah. But there's so many things in play here. I mean, we know that she'd interviewed for at least one NBA job and was a finalist for it with the NBA, and certainly interviewed, I believe, in the background with some other college programs and things like that. Boy, this felt like a Godfather offer. It felt like Becky was taking calls, but to take the call, you had to come with some pretty full suitcases. So, if you want to talk to me, let's start here. And, she was like, if you want me to come to the WNBA, not only am I going to be the coach, you're going to have to make me the GM. And if you're going to make me the coach of the GM, you better make me the highest paid player coach GM in the history of this league. And the Las Vegas said, okay. And you kind of like, well,
yeah, deep pockets
give
can make
me all that.
Deep
hard
pockets
to say no. So there's that. And do you really, Al McGuire, the old Marquette coach, always used to say, you don't want to be the man to replace the man. Because if you're replacing a legend, it's really hard to get out from underneath that shadow. You want to be the guy that replaced the guy that replaced the legend. That's where you want to be on all this. And if you're Pop, do you go, Becky, best thing for you, go away for a while. Don't get caught in this little transition, because if you're the next after me, everything you do will be measured against me.
Now, I would have.
That's not the best place to be.
I would have agreed if Pop had retired on top, but instead he's probably going to go out after 3 or 4 losing seasons. So it's a little bit different, in my opinion.
Nobody will remember. It's like losing a bowl game. Nobody will remember these.
I seriously, I see what you're saying, but props to Becky Hammond. I'm a really big fan of hers. I support her. I rooted for her. I kind of think she got railroaded there when it was said that she couldn't coach games because she didn't scout that team. I think that's the biggest lie this organization's ever given fans. But
it's very strange, wasn't
it? It was, yeah.
Well, okay, I'm curious. This is your reflection now. When you first heard it, did you go, "Oh man," or did you go, "What?"
What a load of crap.
Is that where you went? Because did you honestly believe in your heart of hearts that she was going to be the next coach of the Spurs? Be real. Did you honestly believe when this was done?
There was a time.
There was a time. At the end of this. No, I'm talking about when you heard day before yesterday. When you heard.
Oh no,
did you believe that she was going to be the next coach?
No, I think her time. I think her time was probably about 2 years ago when she led the summer team in Vegas to the title there.
I think that there's been some things that have transpired, both above what we've heard of and other things that we might not have. That things have changed since that time, and I'm not surprised at all that she's not staying here. My concern now is, did she? Because she got this Godfather offer that I don't know who could turn down, quite frankly. You get complete control and get to do whatever you want. We'll pay you a whole bunch of money to do it. Yeah, I might do that, especially not knowing what the future holds with San Antonio or any place else. It's never happened, to my knowledge, that a WNBA coach would, cross over and take over an NBA team. I guess it should. I'm not saying it can't, but did this delay or did this eliminate her possibilities of being an NBA coach? And if she never does that lessen her career? I don't think so. But
that's what I fear, though. You see,
yeah,
you
my
don't think,
first
you don't,
thought was,
you-
damn, I wanted her to be the first. That's what I wanted, but
you don't think so, but we don't know so. And that's the thing about it, is that people were asking the question on Twitter, was this a step backwards? I don't think it was a step backwards, but I don't think it was a step forward either. It was just a weird lateral move that was being done here. But hey, she's getting money, she's getting power that no other person has ever had in the WNBA. So good for her. You know, she has roots in San Antonio. She has roots with the Stars, the Aces now. So I'm proud of her, and I just wish that something had happened in San Antonio where she could have been on the bench for a little while, even for a game. Would have been nice. It would have been nice. But hey, when we come back, we'll be talking more about the Spurs at 1 o'clock. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 will be on at 1 talking about tonight's matchup against the Raptors. But when we come back, Cobra Kai Never Dies, baby. It is back on Netflix. Talk about what we're streaming. And also at 1:30, more Cowboys talk. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM, and on the go at sasportstar.com.
This is the place where time stands still. With each down is a battle of inches.
How about 83 yards from Prescott to Elliott?
This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Dallas Cowboys dropped their final home game of the regular season on Sunday, 25-22 to the Arizona Cardinals. Dak Prescott's 3 passing touchdowns weren't enough, and Arizona snapped a 3-game losing streak in the highly anticipated NFC matchup. The Cowboys also lost wide receiver Michael Gallup for the season with a torn ACL suffered on a touchdown catch in the second quarter. Texas A&M added to their stacked number 1 rated recruiting class with their 4th 5-star recruit yesterday. Linebacker Harold Perkins announced his decision to pick the Aggies at the Under Armour All-American game, and Perkins is the 5th highest ranked recruit on ESPN's Top 100. Only Alabama has more 5-star recruits this class. And the UIW men's basketball team picked up a win against Dallas Christian College 90-45 to take a win into the Southland Conference preseason tournament this week in Katy. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our 11 locations and check out the new Kubota L2501 package deal, which includes a 4-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. Check out our package specials at ewaldkubota.com.
This is important news. If you have unfiled tax returns, the IRS is shifting gears and ramping up investigations on non-filers this year. If you failed to file your tax returns for a year or more, or you owe back taxes, now's the time to call Optima Tax Relief before the IRS finds you. Optima is America's #1 most trusted tax resolution firm, specialize in helping individuals, families, and businesses get right with the IRS. They're experts in the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, a powerful new program that can make resolving tax issues easier. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, Optima's award-winning team has helped thousands of people protect their paychecks, bank accounts, homes, and businesses by putting their tax problems to rest, resolving over $1 billion in tax debts for their clients. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
My name is Sue. I'm 58 and I work with kindergartners. I've been overweight all my life. Over the years, my weight led to high cholesterol, joint pain, and body aches. Getting up and down with kids was hard. I couldn't sit on the floor without finding something to help me up. Once I got up, hip pain would prevent me from walking normally. I had heard the Institute for Functional Health commercials for a long time and thought, maybe this will help me. I called and met with Dr. Torres and immediately liked him. He was very personable. I can't explain it, but something finally clicked inside me. After being on his program, I lost 45 pounds, and for the first time in my life, I feel comfortable and I'm proud of myself. My husband and I have been married 25 years, and I'm now thinner than the day we met. My blood work is optimal, I'm active, better at my job, and I feel in control of my health. This has truly changed my life.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Texas Cheer Liquor, your one-stop shop for beer, liquor, wine, and cigars. Follow them on Facebook to keep up with specials and tastings. 4 locations, 2 on Petranco, 1 past 211, 1 in 90 in Montgomery, and the all-new Texas Cheer Liquor next to Walmart, Palo Alto Road, Suite 101.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
America's best high school football players are coming to Texas. It's the All-American Bowl on Saturday, January 8th at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Trevor Lawrence, Ezekiel Elliott, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the best of the best at the All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by H-E-B. 2 exciting games for $10 in the lower bowl. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.
The largest RV show in South Texas comes to the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall, January 6th through the 9th. Register to win tickets now at sasportstar.com. You can also buy tickets now at SouthTexasRVSupersale.com.
Opinions. We got them. Keep them coming. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Welcome back to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, our first show back for 2022, going until 2 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, we'll have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs joining us to talk about the Spurs. They're back in action tomorrow night against the Toronto Raptors. We'll preview that game. Joined by Rob Thompson today. What's going on, Rob?
Not a lot. Just hanging out on a Monday afternoon, looking at a blue sky outside.
It
Haven't
is
left the house
cold
yet today.
It is cold outside. This morning, took my kids to school. It was 29 degrees. And of course, me as a good husband had to go outside and warm up my wife's SUV. So, get out there.
Well, you keep that to yourself, man.
Why?
You know how hard it is on the rest of us lazy louts that don't do that?
Oh, you don't do
you start
that.
bragging about doing that kind of stuff. Suddenly we're all setting our alarms up. And no, you're a good man.
What's
you're a good man.
What's so funny about it? Last night, my wife, we're getting ready for bed, and she was wearing kind of a really nice nightie, and I was like, "Hey, Mrs. Jimenez, how you doing, girl?" And she goes, she's like smiling, and I'm like, "That's nice. We need to get more of those." And she says, just give me this weird look, and she goes, "You got it for me for Christmas." And I said, "No, I didn't." We went back and forth. It apparently what happened was I got her an outfit that had it underneath, and I did not realize it. So apparently I got her more than what I got. I thought I was getting her like a pajama robe type of thing. So I got it because it had the hanger on. It was on a hanger, but it was underneath. So there you go. I got her more than I thought. So welcome back.
I think she covered her tracks pretty well there.
No, I in my head, I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, it was there. So very nice. Welcome back to halftime. Hey, New Year's Eve meant one thing. It didn't mean fireworks. It didn't mean New Year's resolutions. It meant to me that Cobra Kai was back. And I am so disappointed, Rob Thompson, for saying you've only seen one episode of season 4. No spoilers here.
Credit.
No spoilers here. But come on,
I should
Rob.
get credit for even getting that. I mean, I didn't realize, honestly, I didn't know it had dropped. I hadn't been paying attention.
Yeah.
So when I found out it had dropped, which I realized last night, about middle of the third quarter, when I knew this was done. And quite frankly, I went onto Netflix because I was in my Super Bowl for fantasy. And I couldn't watch the end because I was playing against Aaron Rodgers and Devontae, and they were coming back on me. I had a pretty healthy lead, but they were coming, and I got too nervous. I couldn't watch. I hadn't won a league in 15 years. And so I just had to turn it off. So I went to Netflix, and as soon as it came on, it was like, Cobra Kai's out? So at like 9:30 last night, knowing full well I had to get up at 4 a.m. this morning, I watched the first episode of Cobra Kai and couldn't have been happier. it was a ripping good start.
Yeah, my wife and I saw the last 4 episodes last night before going to bed, and it was one of those things where I don't think it was the best season at all. I liked it. I mean, I'll give it a good grade because it's always entertaining, and you just go back to the nostalgia of Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso and all that stuff, and John Kreese. So you go back in time to all that, and it's fun to watch just because. And season 1 was excellent. Season 2 was phenomenal as well. Season 3, it was okay. It was pretty good.
Which is the one where the dude fell off the balcony and broke his back? Which one was that?
That was 2.
Okay.
That was 2.
Okay. I'm with you. Up till season 2, the season 3 was not as good as season 2. After they tried to bring him back from the broken back, it kind of got a little off.
Season 4 was a little bit disjointed. They got it right at the end. It was very very good at the end. Last 2 or 3 episodes were good, but I just kind of thought they meandered midway through the whole thing. Too many characters.
Well, they're having to fight their way through a couple of things. One of them is poor Dan LaRusso's receding hairline. That is a skillful effort to keep that going. The other part, who is this new? Because I'm only 1 episode in.
Yeah,
they debuted the rich dude that's from somewhere in Bel Air.
He was in Karate Kid 3.
They showed like a highlight, and I had never seen this.
You're like, is this CGI? What is this?
I was like, who is this dude, and why does he play any role in this at all? So he was in Karate Kid 3,
right? Okay, so Karate Kid 1, LaRusso wins the All Valley.
Right.
Karate Kid 2, I believe, was the one where they go to Japan.
In Okinawa.
Right.
Yeah, when they go to Okinawa.
Karate Kid 3.
I don't remember 3.
Was when LaRusso joins Cobra Kai. And LaRusso, that entire movie became kind of an evil character. Was a very ugly karate player, very dirty player.
What?
He learned the ways of Cobra Kai, which is why he's so against Cobra Kai, is because in this show, he's going back to, I've experienced it, and that was in Karate Kid 3. So his sensei back in Karate Kid 3 is this dude who's in season 4 of Cobra Kai.
What? Mind blown. I had no idea. Okay,
now, which means who was the one in Karate Kid 4? It was the girl from $1 Million Baby. What's her name? I wonder if she's going to make an appearance in a year or 2.
I didn't know there was a Karate Kid 4.
Yeah,
which is the one with
Jaden,
little pup.
Yeah, no. So, oh my God, I gotta think about this. But yeah, there was a Karate Kid 4, but it didn't have LaRusso. It was that girl from $1 Million Baby.
So you've seen Karate Kid 4, but you haven't seen The Big Chill.
I have not seen The Big Chill, but on Wednesday we're bringing back movie reviews. Which one am I doing, Pledge? I'm doing Scarface, right?
You haven't seen Scarface?
That's what you said you wanted to do. We've thrown out a bunch of other movies.
That was the Twitter poll results right there. Scarface was number 1, and then American Me was number 2 in the list of things that people wanted me to watch.
One's a little bit more intense than the other, I can tell you that.
I have realized that I can go on with this for about 3 years because I didn't watch much of anything but the Karate Kid movies.
But you saw Karate Kid. You know what you grew up watching? Those $5 movies that were in the basket at Circle K. It sounds like those are the movies you watched.
Yeah, I think we got HBO in 91. I think is what it was. The first thing I remember from HBO was back in the day was a show called First and 10 with OJ and it was Delta Burke. I remember that. I wasn't allowed to watch it, but I did later on.
Delta Burke.
There's a name. There's a name I never thought I'd say in sports talk radio. Good times. Designing women back in the day. We got another hour of halftime to go. We're talking Spurs when we come back. 3-game losing streak. Let's see if they can snap it tomorrow night against the Raptors. We'll preview that game. We'll talk more about the Cowboys at 1:30. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
You tall guys, man. I feel like y'all's job is always easier.
Oh, it's always easy.
Especially you a hooper, the girls go crazy because they're 6'4", 6'6". Like, there's no work involved. Down here, we got to work. We got to have conversation. Down here, you got to have game.
Rob Thompson, Rudy J. Weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmett's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Start now with a free consultation at QC Kinetics. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Call today. 571-0318.
Jason Minix here for River City Oral Surgery. If you need your wisdom teeth out, a tooth pulled, dental implants, you need to know about Dr. Mark Havercorn at River City Oral Surgery. He offers direct patient care, so you don't need a referral. You simply call, make an appointment, and all prices are listed on the website. That's one of the great things when you go to rivercityoms.com. Even if you have dental insurance, River City Oral Surgery will probably still be less, and all prices are all inclusive, including your post-op care. You know exactly what it's going to cost you before you go in. Free market medicine is the way to go. You know what you're going to pay, and you know you're getting the best care. People drive from all over the state to see Dr. Havercorn, who is an oral surgeon. He's a specialist medical doctor, and he treats people of all ages. Call 210-778-0002 or go to the website rivercityoms.com. rivercityoms.com. The Roo Pub is the best place to watch a game. Football, basketball, the big fights, they have them on at the Roo on their 3 massive 170-inch laser screens and TVs all around. Come hungry, the food is fantastic, and the kitchen is open until 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. The Roo Pub has the best darts area in town, indoor cornhole, and weekday happy hour from 11 to 6. For lunch, dinner, or late at night, and the best place to watch a game, get into the Roo Pub at 281 in Redmond Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
This whole wall needs to be shelving too. This is a focal point in our restaurant.
Leilani's new restaurant will have the largest wine cellar in the city. She needs a robust sommelier with notes of procurement manager.
3 sections for France. I mean, this is the biggest.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Live, local, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
Yeah, baby. Hour number 2 of halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM, and we're on the go at sasportstar.com. My name's Michael Jimenez. This show goes till 2 o'clock. Rob Thompson is with me. James Pledger producing this show. You know,
Howdy.
Before the break, we were talking about Karate Kid and Karate Kid 4. By the way, Karate Kid 3 had Hilary Swank. That was the actress. So thank you to everyone who filled us in. Hilary Swank was in Karate Kid 3 back in 1994 when Mike Jimenez was 17 years old. The weird
Hilary
thing,
Swank
was
in a Karate Kid movie.
Yep.
They lost me after 2. I had no idea. I didn't jump back in on the franchise until was that Will Smith's kid did it? Okay.
Now Karate Kid 3, there's an actor named Thomas Ian Griffith who plays Terry Silver, who is in Cobra Kai season 4, the guy that we were just talking about.
Okay, that's the cat. Okay.
I went back in time to see, what has he done recently. He hasn't acted since 2006. So they literally brought him back. They called him up off of waivers.
These guys acted since 2006?
Yeah, did John Kreese. I don't remember him.
None of these guys have been seen since the 90s. So, yeah, it's a kind of a Hollywood welfare system. If you've been out of work for a while, you can be on Cobra Kai, get a paycheck, man. Stay with the union.
Billy Zabka, baby. I mean, come on, man. He's still a good actor. I love that guy, man. He was in that movie with Rodney Dangerfield, Back to School. He was the one that would pick on his son, Rodney Dangerfield's son.
Chaz?
Yeah. Good times. Good times. Welcome back to Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. Dude, we love talking pop culture and nostalgia here, man. Cobra Kai, it's still worth a watch. If you haven't watched any of them, seasons 1 and 2 were amazing. 3 was okay. 4 was okay. That happens to shows, man. That it just you hit a peak and then it starts to go down. But fortunately for Cobra Kai, it wasn't too bad. Pledge, what did you think of the show, man?
Oh, I loved it, especially the way it ended.
Yeah, I like that's what they do. They stick the landing very well on all of the seasons.
So it's coming back. We're not done.
Oh no,
they taped 4 and 5 together. Like they did them back to back.
They did 2 and 3.
Yeah,
okay.
They did them back to back. So we've got 5 coming. I would imagine season 5 would be out rather soon.
Now, Rob, Pledge is a big fan of Tori.
Oh, Peyton Lisp?
Yeah.
Now, which one is Tori? Is she the Cobra Kai or the?
The Cobra
she's
Kai
the
girl.
Cobra Kai.
Okay, the tough one.
Yeah, which is funny because she's in a bunch of Disney type shows right now that I watch with my daughter. So it's kind of funny because she's like all bubbly on Disney, and then we, later on, that same day we're watching that show. We then watch that night Cobra Kai, and she's all vicious.
It's
There's a lesson in there. There's somewhere in that little story. There's a lesson for the young men out there.
It's what you call range, Michael.
What's that?
It's range as an actor.
Oh, I know. She plays a ditzy blonde.
I was just going to say female, but we can say range.
Well, hey, it's New Year's. Do you do resolutions or do you do goals or do you do both?
I don't do any of it. Growing up, my mother was every year we had to write them down and she put them in an envelope and sealed them safely in a mayonnaise jar and buried them in the backyard. And then every year she'd pull them out, and to the great despair of all, we'd read how much of a failure we had been. No, I hate those. I don't do them at all.
So last night I stayed up and I did a bunch of resolutions. I don't know if I call them resolutions. They're just goals.
Are you manifesting? Are you just putting it out there to the universe?
Well, it's one of those things where you need to have an accountability partner. So I'm going to ask Pledge because he's here with me. I'm going to show him my screen and I'm going to say
an accountability partner.
Yeah, for all things. I mean, if it's working out,
can
if
I
it's
be
dieting?
That?
Yes,
I'd like to be. I'll be anybody's accountability partner. I will keep you accountable.
Yeah, and it has everything to do with.
You seem like an enabler.
That would be Minix. That would be Jason Minix. He's an enabler.
That would be this entire radio station.
Yes, there is that. Okay, so it's not a when you resolve to do something. From now on I am this.
Well, I guess it's.
But I'm more of an act as if guy. Well, what would a guy who's going to do this do? And I'll do that.
Well, let me tell you this though. There's different parts. There's a professional and there's a personal one. Okay, so the professional one is what I want to accomplish here at the station, what I want to accomplish with my business. Those are goals. They're tangible goals, and I think they're realistic. When it comes to matters of health, though, those are the important ones because no matter how successful you are at work, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And the fact of the matter is that last year, since May, I've lost 27 pounds. I got it to 30 because of the holidays. I slid back down. But man, guess where I found myself this past week? I walked into CrossFit, and I've done 2 CrossFit workouts. I did one on Friday.
Yeah, that's about right.
I did one on Thursday, did one on Saturday, and I'm doing it again tonight. I'm not saying that I'm a CrossFit member yet, though I have paid for some lessons. But I think that once I get to like 15 to 20 workouts, and by the way, I said CrossFit, and you smiled, Pledge. Why did you smile?
I think that we're both thinking the same thing. I think we're both thinking the same thing.
We are.
They're all going to laugh at you.
No, it's not that. I don't know anybody who does CrossFit that isn't all in.
Mm-hmm.
It's an all-in kind of a thing.
CrossFit is a lifestyle.
You don't do it half-assed.
It is a
cult.
cult.
It's a lifestyle. There's nobody who just like, I'm going to skip CrossFit this week. Those guys, they ain't CrossFitters. Anybody they're all in, and respect to them. But it is an adjustment.
So what?
It would be the next step in your progression. I can tell you that. It wouldn't surprise me.
It's much like you're running. You full on committed to it.
Yeah.
So
you get into CrossFit, you're gonna.
And you're all about personal bests and that kind of stuff because that's basically how this comes down to is just improving upon yourself. And some of the things they do are
I enjoyed it.
You're gonna tear.
Yeah, I think you will. It doesn't surprise me at all. I'm not being.
Well,
I'm not trying to downgrade CrossFit types, but all I can tell you is those that have been successful that I see truly have pulled something out of it that have literally changed their lives. It is 100%, man.
Now, I've done 175 classes of Camp Gladiator, which, by the way, is about 65% of what CrossFit is. Now, CrossFit has a lot more strength training involved. But I went to the Lone Star CrossFit on Petranco, which is right next to my house, and I was jogging by there, and I met somebody in the parking lot, and they said, "Hey, come check it out. We have a free lesson." I tried it out. I enjoyed it. New Year's Day, I went out there. So one of my goals this year is to do 100 classes of something, whether it be CrossFit, Camp Gladiator. I want to do 100. That's 2 a week. And then I have a goal of doing 400 miles of jogging for the year. I'm going to do that through Map My Run. I've done 2.5 miles so far this year. Those are my goals on a health scale. And then hopefully that results in a 10 to 15 pound loss for the year.
Dude, it would be more than that.
But the thing is that I know I can do it. I've done 75 classes in a year. I've done hundreds of miles of jogging. So I'm not putting out there goals or resolutions that I think are unattainable. That's the problem. I think most people either A, make it too lofty, and B, do not have an accountability partner. And that's where I want to go to you, Pledge, or go to you, Rob, and say, these are my numbers at work. These are my numbers at the station. These are my numbers at, with my workout.
I want to see your CrossFit numbers.
You want to see my CrossFit? It's just go 100 times.
Accountability partner. I thought that's why I got married.
It's different, man. Like, come on, man.
I mean, it's the same.
It's the same.
Rob, have you taken out the trash today?
Accountability partner? Do you take this accountability partner?
You know what?
I'm accountable for many things.
I'm going to ask Joe Reinagle at 4:00. Okay, Joe Reinagle, welcome to the San Antonio Sports Star. This is what you're getting into. Okay, if you want to ask for an accountability partner at the station, you ain't gonna get one.
Well, we'll hold you accountable.
I will hold you 100% accountable.
We've got plenty of people that'll do that for you. Can I put that on my business card?
Yes, you can.
I'm an accountability partner.
No, I'll just call you guru. Just something, man.
Accountability partner. That's the best term I've heard all day. I'm going to keep that one.
I like it.
All right, man. Let's talk some Spurs. Jeff Garcia with us today?
He can be.
He can be. Let's bring him on, man. I think he might be on StreamYard or something like that. But the Spurs, it's one of those things where the Spurs have lost 3 games in a row, Rob. And I'm not going to take any stock into any of these games, okay? Except for the Pistons game. Except for the Pistons game, I don't care. They should have won that game. The Pistons had 8 players on 10-day contracts. They were missing Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart. They were missing Jeremy Grant. So the Spurs should have won that game. I don't care if the Spurs were without DeJounte, without McBuckets, and without Lonnie Walker. Spurs still should have won that game. But the other 2 games, not going to really worry about it because DeJounte wasn't there, and the Spurs are not going to win without him. But I have some concerns about this, Rob. My biggest concern with the Spurs right now is that Derek White went 0 for 4 from 3 in the last game against the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
For the season, shooting 29%. 29% from 3. And I have some major concerns about that because if your shooting guard can't shoot, there's an issue. And I have a lot of people fighting me online going, no, man, you got it wrong. He's a good defender. And, you add it all together. He's a good defender and he can pass and all this different stuff. But I'm sorry, man, this is a scoring league. Your starting shooting guard cannot be shooting 29% from 3. That's just a no-go.
On any team but the Spurs. You're right. But what our vision of the Spurs is very different than Pop's vision of the Spurs. Our vision is one that is playing like the rest of the NBA. Pop's vision is not that. But Derek White is a very good NBA guard. Is he a legitimate starting NBA guard on every team in the league? No. He is a good NBA guy.
Yes.
But his hamstring, his weakness is what you just brought up. And if it was valued, if it was important, he would have improved on that.
See, okay. So one of the things I asked Jeff Garcia the other day was, has he introduced himself to Chip England? Because Keldon Johnson has gone from a 35% three-point shooter, which is respectable. Okay, not good, but respectable from a small forward. but now he's at 45% for the year. He was at 47 a while back. You can tell that if you take that seriously and you want to learn and improve your form, certain things can happen. And I saw that Pistons game, and I was seeing Derek White just chunking up 3-pointers that had no chance of going in. I was watching Jakob Poeltl shoot a shot putt as a free throw.
The free throw at the end of the game.
Yeah,
My God.
that was. I mean, he threw it. He didn't shoot it. He threw the ball at the rim. How is that supposed to go in? I just have some concerns there about those two things in general. If Derek can suddenly go back to being a 35% 3-point shooter, I think the Spurs would be in a better position. But Jeff Garcia threw me under the bus when it came to all this. He is with us here from Ken's 5 and Locked On Spurs. Jeff, you threw me under the bus. You basically said, hey, man, Mike says Derek White sucks as a 3-point shooter. What do you guys think? Thank you for throwing me under the bus.
How was that throwing you under the bus when you said it?
I know, but you threw gasoline on that fire. But
here's the thing, if you want more followers to build up, your Twitter following, you gotta, do things like that. I'm trying to help you out, Michael.
Very nice.
He's trying to help you out, and he's telling the truth, all at the same time.
It concerns me because I said on Locked On Spurs, I asked the question: has Derek White walked over and met Chip Engelland and said, "Hey, my name's Derek. I'm on this team. I'd like to shoot the 3, please."
It seems to me that maybe Coach Chip just likes to take them one-on-one every year. First, it was Kawhi Leonard improving him, Tony Parker before him. This year's Keldon Johnson. Maybe he just takes projects. And who knows? Maybe Derek White is up next on his list. But no, he definitely needs to go and check out Mr. Chip to get those shots falling more often there. Not Joe Reinagle. I see that.
Jeff, I got a question for you. Isn't this more of a product of the position and not the player? I mean, in Pop's parlance, in this offense, small forwards get threes. That's where they're standing. Yeah. That's part of the plan. And two guards, one guards, lead guards, whatever we want to define our guards, they don't get threes. They get them in transition. They're not part of the process. They get the kick out after the kick in. So is it more of a product of what Pop wants to do offensively than it is, the situation where he can't shoot? It's more of a situational thing with him than it is a product.
No, I think he needs to start chucking him up a little bit more. Remember, this is the same Popovich who said this season that if the guys are not taking 3 shots, that's a bad thing. He wants everybody to throw him up. And Derek White is doing it. He's just not seeing them fall. Now, historically, Michael, you brought this up on Locked On. Historically, he's not been a great 3-point shooter, so he shouldn't be too shocked he's having kind of a not so great shooting from the line.
He fell below the Mendoza line. Like in baseball, there was the Mendoza line. In NBA, it's the Russell Westbrook line. If you're shooting at a lower clip than Russell Westbrook from 3, you are awful, because we all call Russell Westbrook for a reason, because he's awful at shooting. And if you're below that says something.
Well, the good news is that Keldon is seemingly picking up the slack in that department, knocking down threes. Now, he's almost automatic now. Death taxes and Keldon knocking down threes now. That's what it feels like. And, of course, Lonnie's pretty good. Not great, but he's decent from 3. So, Vassell as well. So, they got 3-point shooters to kind of Band-Aid mask up Derek White's off shooting from 3 line. But you can't sit here and say that Derek White is not still contributing, in a high-value way. The charges he picks up, he's still putting up numbers. He's, getting double-figure scoring. He's rebounding. He's assisting. He had a career high in assists, 14 in the loss against Detroit. So he is still bringing value. And if you put it on the scale, the pros maybe outweigh this one con.
Taking a look at the standings right now, the Spurs were sitting at the 10th spot, right? So you're saying there's a chance spot in the playoffs there, right? Get into the play-in game, but because they've lost 3 in a row, they've dropped to 14-21 for the year. Sacramento has leapfrogged them. It's this crazy thing that we're going to be going through over the course of the next 4 to 6 weeks, where we're looking at it going, wow, the Spurs are just as close to the 10 spot as they are the 5 spot in the lottery, or a potential 5 spot in the lottery. It's a crazy place to be.
I know, yeah. And I look at this team, and, the last, 5, something like that, 5, 6, we're at 10. Maybe they're 5-5, 3-3 in the last 6. They are who they are. They're gonna win one, lose one. In this case, they're gonna rattle off 3 in a row and now lose 3 in a row. This is just who they are. They're trying to get things together. Jakob Poeltl spoke ahead of tomorrow night's game versus the Raptors a little while ago and said that, yeah, it's a little easier said than done than putting away a team when you're up, and that he's still using that card of it's still a growing process. Kind of sat there and looked at that Zoom screen and I can't excuse this team for blowing a 17-point lead over.
You gave up 22 offensive rebounds yesterday. 22.
They got 33-22 in one quarter, and that was all she wrote. And here's the really stunning thing. I've asked Michael this on Lockdown Spurs, Pleasure this. I'll ask you, not Joe Reinagel. The Spurs are winless after the third quarter this entire season if they're down the scoreboard. What does that tell you about this team? Even if it's down 1 point, Rob, they can't rally back from that 1 point deficit.
It tells me it's a very young basketball team that can't shoot. I mean, that's what happens to young basketball teams that can't shoot. But there is some method to this, though. I do think early on in the season, Pop had some very interesting, units to close out some games. I don't know what that meant in the long run for things, but if you can't shoot, and you just brought up Mike brought up the Jakob Poeltl's free throw shooting, and you can't hit clutch free throws, you're going to lose a lot of basketball games, especially when we're talking about the situation when you can't hit volume threes either. So that's where we sit.
And that's what they've been if you go back and look at the bulk of their losses, that's what it's come down to, either missed throws or off shooting night from 3 line. That's pretty much it. And this team, I'm a little bit surprised they're having such a hard time from the free throw line this season. But, I mean, that 3 line, you bring in Bryn Forbes, you bring in McDermott, you see the spike in Keldon Johnson's 3-point shooting, and they're still one of the worst teams on the 3 line. That's still going to be an issue for the team as the season moves forward.
It will be as long as Pop's here. It will be as long as Pop is here.
Yeah.
That is Jeff Garcia from Ken's 5 and Locked On Spurs. Earlier, you described this road trip, which, by the way, continues tomorrow against Toronto, as a mini rodeo road trip because there's been 7 games that we're talking about here. And we've got Toronto, Boston, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, New York, all in the next week. That is ugly. That is ugly. Which is the most winnable game out of all of those?
Good Lord. I was going to say New York, but historically, even when New York is horrible, they always give the L's to San Antonio in their gym at MSG. Oh my goodness! Maybe tomorrow, Toronto. Maybe. I mean, Philly. I think this would just wreck them.
I mean, Brooklyn, Toronto has a losing record from home, 9-10.
I'm expecting Patty Mills to perhaps destroy his career high. Spurs. I think it's coming, guys. Brace yourself.
Don't sell this team short. The difference between this team, if they suddenly get healthy and the protocols are cleared, they'll beat Philadelphia. They'll beat a good team at home. I don't know which one it'll be, but they'll beat one of them. That's been their history this year. They'll beat a good team on the road because they focus in and they do exactly what's required. Another symptom of being a young team. But it's all a matter to do with health. Right now, they can, at the end of this road trip, they could effectively end this season. If this road trip goes the way it looks right now, and they lose 8 or 9 straight, the season's done.
And Team Tank, and I'll be the captain of Team Tank. Thank you very much.
But that's not going to happen.
Here's the thing, Rob. Rob, I hear you when you're saying this team when healthy can go into another team's gym. One of the powerhouses to beat them. We've seen it already. But just when we think that they're turning that corner-ish, maybe they rattle off 3 losses in a row.
Oh, no, they're not consistently good.
You just cannot. I cannot sit here and say, they're going to go to Philly and take down Joel Embiid and his crew. I can't do that.
But we wouldn't be surprised, though. It's just the weirdest thing.
Exactly. But you're not going to be surprised if they do. So just flip a quarter, and there's your answer when it comes to the Spurs team this season. So win game in, game out.
So whatever you do, don't bet for the Spurs and never bet against them. It's just you don't know which team you're going to get.
Just like real quick, Jeff, play the odds and the evens.
And I'm sure this has gone back and forth many times with you, but with Becky, what's your perception of the situation? Was it a Godfather offer, one of those things that came across that, quite frankly, she couldn't say no, or was she going to leave no matter what and it just happened to be she got a great offer.
I see it in her situation as win across the board. I mean, there's no L to this. There's, hey, you're not going to get an immediate NBA head coaching spot, so go get yourself a head coaching spot at a professional level with the women's league. And imagine when, I don't know her contract situation. Michael, I think you said it's a 5-year deal.
I think it's 5 years.
Yeah, 5-year deal, but whatever. Imagine her whenever there is an NBA position open, and hopefully there's no former player involved, up for that position. But she can now present that to whoever her potential employer can be in the NBA side. This is, hey, I got 3, 4, 5 years as professional head coach in a professional level. So that's great. I think it's good for her. And why wait around? Get your money, get your power, go back to your roots, do what you got to do. And then, hey, you're not shutting the door to an NBA team in the future. So why not come with, bullets in the chamber, ready to go to fire away when you're presenting your best self to an NBA spot. But I mean, Rob, she pretty much warned us. I mean, she pretty much leaked it without leaking it when she did that interview and said, like, don't be surprised if it happens.
And the problem is that if she does leave the WNBA, that could actually hurt that league, which would make it even harder for her to leave. Hey, real fast before we let you go, Jeff, Cobra Kai, have you seen it yet?
Binged it the day it came out. Love it. I'm a little surprised though, Rob, that you didn't know Silver and Hillary Swank.
Yeah, he was like,
dude, I was done after 2.
Disney Menace, but not you.
No, 2 and 3 and 4, I had no idea, man. I didn't catch those at all.
He was shook that LaRusso was part of Cobra Kai in 3.
It's like the Force, man. It's like he's like
Anakin
Skywalker. I had no idea.
That's all he was. That's all he was in that third movie, or when he got tempted by the dark side, Silver. He became part of the dark side of the Force, this case Cobra Kai, and then he came back to the light, went back to his Obi-Wan Yoda, which is Mr. Miyagi. That's pretty much the movie summed up right there.
Awesome.
I hadn't even seen it.
It all goes back to Star Wars. I'm doing Scarface on Wednesday, so I got to watch that between now and then. And I've been told that I cannot watch Transformers 1986.
No, I'm 86. I'm saving your butt, because if you watch that and give it anything less than an A+, you're gonna get buried. I'm saving you. By the way, we didn't even talk about the Twitter thing I put out the other day about the music thing. Let me see if Rob can do this. What is the best song that just drops San Antonio in its lyrics?
Oh, it's a great one.
San Antonio. It's a song not about San Antonio. It just mentions it. So I'll give you an example. Huey Lewis in the News, Hard to Rock and Roll, DC, San Antonio, Liberty Town. So basically the responses came down to these 3 as the heavy hitters. China Grove.
That's it. That's mine.
Folsom Prison #2.
Oh.
And Amarillo
by morning.
George Strait.
That's certainly the top 3. There's a Bob Wills song from way back that has a San Antonio Rose that might play into it, but that's old. I'd hard to argue with those 3. The one that came to mind was the Doobie Brothers.
Wow.
Oh, China Grove?
Yeah, that's the one that hit me immediately.
Yeah, the one that I remember the most, aside from Huey Lewis, was the Monkees. The Monkees actually had a song that referenced San Antonio.
Because Michael Nesmith is from San Antonio.
Yeah.
One of the Monkees is from here.
So, yeah.
I'm learning
Drake
much
drop
right
San
now.
Antonio? Didn't Drake drop San Antonio in a line?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know who I'm surprised never dropped San Antonio in any of his songs? Christopher Cross. He never dropped San Antonio in any
he
of
went
his
to Alamo
songs.
Heights.
I think it's
He's one of those Heights
The
types,
king of yacht
I
rock,
get it.
Christopher Cross.
Sailing, baby.
That he is.
We're looking for that bump music there, Pledge, when we come back. Some Christopher Cross.
Yeah.
Get some yacht rock along the way while everyone's enjoying lunch. That's Jeff Garcia from Ken's 5 and Locked On Spurs. Follow him on Twitter, Spotify. It's a great
Jimenez is on
podcast.
today's episode of Locked On Spurs, so check it out.
Very nice,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Jeff, thank you
Later.
so much. Come back. Let's talk some Cowboys. Michael Gallup out for the year. Kellen Moore maybe out for good. We'll be talking about this maybe soon. It could happen. It's a possibility, Rob Thompson. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Headline 2. San Antonio Sports Star Pro Football Pick'em. Online at sasportstar.com. Can you pick the perfect matchups all season long? If so, you could win $50,000. Weekly winners score gift cards to Pinkerton's Barbecue and the Mellow Mushroom. For official contest rules and to play, visit sasportstar.com. Must be at least 21 years old to play this nationwide contest. One winner will be selected at the end of the season. The Pro Football Challenge from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Do you love your garage? Can you get your cars and the kids' bikes in? Jason Minix here for Garageization, your garage storage solution. With a variety of shelving, overhead racks, slat walls, and closed cabinet options, Garageization can make your garage functional for the entire family. Call 210-664-4494 and have them give you a free customized plan for your family's needs. For over a decade, Garageization has helped people love their garage. Learn more online at GarageOrganizationSanAntonio.com.
I need to be able to work from anywhere, so I need to have supplies, well, everywhere.
It's possible at Staples. I need the same setup for my home as I have at the office, without twice the cost. Also possible, because your local Staples store has the tools your business needs to get work done. Now get 40% back in a Staples store bonus when you buy any 2 ink or toner cartridges. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 1/15, limit 2 in-store only. See staplesconnect.com/store bonus for details.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
Doug. And we're back with Limu, Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb.
All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs.
Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. You say goodbye, and I say hello.
With Mercari, your unneeded things can find a new life.
Hello, hello.
Easily list and sell.
I know why you say goodbye, and I say hello.
Or discover great finds.
Hello.
Buy or sell almost anything.
You say goodbye, and I say hello.
Download Mercari on the app stores or at Mercari.com. Mercari, your marketplace.
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former Volkswagen and Audi owners or lessees may be eligible to receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to autoairbagsettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's autoairbagsettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas.
If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments. The kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. And with helpful representatives just a call away, it's easy to understand why Pi is rated excellent by customers on Trustpilot. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Join up the game plan for the second half of the day. It's halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Yeah, baby. Welcome back to a very soothing episode of Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN and 1250.
The pandemic kind of brought his career back.
Really? How's that?
I saw something happened. I know he'd been sick and something was going on early on that his music came back. I think it was on 60 Minutes. It was kind of a big deal.
You know, when I ran the half marathon last month, I ran to slow jams the entire time. We're talking Christopher Cross. We're talking Lionel Richie, Hall & Oates. I run faster with slower music. But during the break, by the way, I had to hear James Pledger just ridicule me, and also Jonathan C. on YouTube following along on the show, saying that I'm gonna like join CrossFit, or I'm gonna be part of a cult now, and that I'm gonna abandon my family because of it? Please explain.
Yeah, you're gonna abandon your family. You're gonna have a protein shirt with the sleeves cut off. You're gonna have
Just don't be the CrossFit guy that tells me every time I see him about his CrossFit activities, about his PBRs,
Kind of
personal bests.
Oh, baby, our WOD, workout of the day, baby, workout of the day.
But I will say this: it works. If you're in, you get fit.
Well, I
don't know anybody who has not been remarkably successful in that aspiration, but it's 100%.
Will I be thirst trappy with my photos, just like Pledge?
Yeah, absolutely.
Worse.
You're gonna be there, and you're gonna have that KT tape on that you're gonna be showing off because you've like ripped some kind of muscle group somewhere, and you're just strapping it together to try and keep it together to get your new PBR.
Hopefully, what doesn't happen to me is an injury like Michael Gallup's. Score me on that one. Score me on that one, Rob. Score me on that one.
You came out swinging. Actually, that was pretty nonchalant. That's a 7. That's a 7 or 8.
I
didn't know you were going there.
Stuck the landing right there.
You gave me the hezzy. Gave me a little sham god. Took me someplace. Pulled it back.
Well, because I was talking to Pledge during the break about I tried CrossFit about 12 years ago, and I really liked it for about 3 months, and then I jacked up my knee on a box jump. So, and so now I know certain things I shouldn't do involving my knees. I'm older and wiser. But last night, watching this Cowboys game against the Cardinals, Michael Gallup, what a great touchdown catch. Incredible catch. He held on to it, and he never got off the field there, man. It looked ugly. The turf monster came and grabbed him, took out his knee, and he's out for the year.
Yeah, the good news for Dallas Cowboy fan is that is a full wide receiver room with lots of talent, and Cedric stepped in there, and quite frankly, not a beat missed as far as the passing game goes. You wonder about the long-term part of Michael Gallup and his career with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Gallup is that one player that you want to have tippy-toe something on the sidelines. We've said that all year. All year long, he is that guy. CD Lamb is the guy that you want to catch it up the middle. Amari Cooper is the one down getting it deep. Gallup is the one that over-the-shoulder catch, that down the sidelines. He's amazing at that. You saw that the athleticism with that touchdown catch of how he came back for it, got to the end zone. There's something to be said about that. Cedric Wilson, I do like. He's a talented receiver, but he's not Gallup, man. He's 80%.
No, he's not. And you're right about Gallup. Gallup is the best sideline receiver that isn't a superstar in the NFL. Yeah. I mean, as far as knowing where his feet are on the sideline, there's nobody better, and that's going to be missed. But if you were going to suffer an injury to a star or an important player on the team, it would be Gallup. That would be the guy. Well, it'd be him because, quite frankly, he's easily replaced, and even on the best of days, he's the third option.
Agreed.
He is, but behind CD and maybe even the fourth behind Dalton Schultz, who has just been spectacular. So that's not. It's unfortunate that it happened, and I certainly feel bad for the kid. But when the Cowboys lose, and they will, it won't be because they didn't have Michael Gallup.
So basically, Rob's saying it's not the end of the world that Michael Gallup got hurt.
No.
But would it be the end of the world for this team in the upcoming seasons if Kellen Moore was no longer the offensive coordinator? Because word on the street is he's going to be interviewing for the Jacksonville Jaguars head coaching position, vacated by Urban Meyer. Would it be the end of the world? I mean, is this something that you think is a legitimate threat for him to leave for?
Is it a threat for him to leave?
Yes.
No, I don't think that.
You don't think that if it's offered to him,
for that job.
You don't think if it's offered to him, he wouldn't go?
Oh no, I think he would go in a heartbeat. I just don't think he's going to be offered. I think it's really easy to take a Zoom interview in this little 2-week, availability thing. And Quinn has other aspirations. It doesn't surprise me that he's not leaving, but I'm not sure where I stand on Kellen Moore. I can't figure out. His quarterback is in a desperate slump with, he was shielded last week by a defense that was just ridiculous. And it didn't need to do much. So we assumed that everything was better, but he hasn't gotten his quarterback out of a slump. That's one thing that bothers me. And just some in-game things that they just kind of bother me. He's always swinging for the fences, and I appreciate that. But at some point, you got to be what we thought you were going to be, and you ain't that. You ain't a running team. So I have some play calling questions. I have some Dak Prescott just development quarterback coach questions that would have to be answered. And then there's just the gosh, you're a kid. You're a young coach stepping into the swamp that is in Jacksonville. That is, well,
is he a kid, or does he look like a kid?
Well, it's both. I mean, he was on the field 4 years ago. I mean, he was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. He's young in the coaching world, and Jacksonville is the word I want to use. I can't say it is the worst job maybe in all of professional sports in the United States. I mean, it is a terrible job.
It is a terrible job, but they have Trevor Lawrence. They have they have the quarterback of the future there, and that's the most important position. And the thing is that if he gets that offer, he should take it. There is no, I mean, we talked about Becky Hammond earlier. There's no heir apparent with the Cowboys right now. Everyone's saying that Kellen Moore will be the future coach of the Cowboys. Doesn't know that that's going to be the case. There's only so many positions available in the NFL when it comes to head coaching positions. And if he gets that offer, I'm sorry, he has to go. I don't care how bad of a dumpster fire Jacksonville is right now. He has to go. And the thing is that, it's one of those things where maybe he takes this interview, maybe he becomes a finalist for it, maybe it lines his pockets a little bit more because maybe Jerry will have to cough up some more money.
I think if you were talking heir apparent on the roster, it's Dan Quinn.
Yeah,
if
I
you
agree.
were going to ask me,
I agree.
I don't think that the Kellen Moore apple is as shiny as it was 2 months ago, but he's worthy of an interview. And I think it's more job specific. I think he would be a good head coach in some circumstances. It's just that think about the issues with Jacksonville. Not only are they awful, but I don't even know where they're going to play in 3 years. Am I going to have to spend half a year in London, which I do believe is coming? So when you're dealing with that, and then you're dealing with free agency and having to tell guys, well, for the first 8 games, you're going to be in London, or the second 8 games are going to be in London. I'm going to be where? I mean, so I think that there's so many issues with Jacksonville that it's just not a good fit for any young coach. And I'm not sure Kellen Moore has made enough bones to even get the gig or get anything other than a tertiary interview. This is a much bigger job than I think he's prepared to do.
I was fascinated by the fact that they wanted 2 Cowboys coaches to come in and get that interview. But Jacksonville Jaguars right now 2-14, the worst team in the NFL right now. They are projected to have the number 1 pick in the upcoming draft. Right now, I'm looking at a mock draft right now. They're saying Kayvon Thibodeau of Oregon would probably go number 1, or Aiden Hutchinson of Michigan.
Another D lineman. And that's probably where they need to go. I just can't imagine. I talked about this earlier on R&R. The Jacksonville is in such a bad situation right now that normally when a new head coaching job comes open, I want a new coach to get it. I want a guy, no retread, or at least somebody who's been out of been away for a year or two. But this is a situation that I think calls for an NFL lifer, somebody who has been around the block, who has GM'd, who has coached and been on a lot of different parts of a lot of different football teams to fix this. Because
no Byron Leftwich, huh?
I mean,
no Byron Leftwich.
They did that with Tom Coughlin.
Yeah,
and Coughlin. Well, Coughlin's an older school guy. A little bit more of a hardcore guy, but that was the only time they were moderately successful was when they had an NFL type there. It just seems like this is such a dumpster fire that if I was advising Kellen, I'd say don't even take the job, even if it's offered. But you can't say no.
Real quick, we were talking about how the road to the Super Bowl goes through Lambeau, but on the AFC, it goes through Nashville. How did that happen? I'm looking at everything right now. Are you telling me the Tennessee Titans, who lost Derrick Henry midway through the season, we all said there's no way in the world that they're going to win the division, much less make any noise. But right now, as of today, going into week 18, they're the number 1 seed right now in the AFC. How crazy is that?
7 straight wins. With the expectation they're going to get Derrick Henry back here in the next couple of weeks. Why aren't we talking about Vrabel as the coach of the year?
Exactly. Right there.
And how did we get 7 games into this without me even really thinking that they had won 7 straight games. This is the most surprising turn of events. It's like watching the landslide that finally hit you. Why didn't we see this coming? I don't know where this happened, that suddenly Tennessee is the number 1 team in the AFC. I didn't see it coming, and suddenly it's here, and they're going to get better.
And what's funny about that is that we've all kind of crowned Kansas City as being, back-to-back AFC champions. And I'm looking at it going, Tennessee is no slouch. But for weeks, last 3 or 4 weeks, I was talking to Pledge about keep an eye out on Cincinnati. Keep an eye out on that team. And wow, everything is coming together. I saw that one come in about a month ago. Mixon, when it comes to, you have a back that can get 25 to 30 carries. You have a stud receiver, and all of a sudden, Burrow is looking like the guy that he was at LSU. Big game play right there. Man, that's going to be a good, interesting race there. I was a little bit concerned that the AFC was going to be boring, but now that I look at it, those 3 teams there, and then now Buffalo's playing well. It's going to be fun to watch, man. But we're going to put a bow on the show.
For you guys.
Yes, good.
Before we go to break, I have a question. Who does Jamar Chase remind you of? Is there any player when you watch him play that he reminds you of?
A little bit of Randy Moss.
Maybe. I mean, just because of when I look at greatness, I always think, is there anybody that I can compare him to? Did anybody do it the way that he does it or she does it before?
Not the same way, but the
this
Jets.
Guy has a 5th gear.
Yeah.
The likes of which I haven't seen what that getaway speed in a long time. This guy is utterly ridiculous. If you don't have a safety over the top with this guy, he's going to beat you all day long.
Randy Moss did it vertically, but this guy, you get him at the 50-yard line, and he's gone. I mean, he won by like 4 yards. They couldn't keep up with him. What is he running, like a 4.25, 4.3?
I don't know. He's got track speed.
Yeah,
he really is a track speed type of guy.
All right, we're going to put a bow on the show on the other side. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star.
Are you ready?
You know what time it is?
The NFL playoff picture is coming together.
Let's go today, huh?
Hear it unfold on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Dallas Cowboys dropped their final home game of the regular season on Sunday, 25-22 to the Arizona Cardinals. Dak Prescott's 3 passing touchdowns weren't enough, and Arizona snapped a 3-game losing streak in the highly anticipated NFC matchup. The Cowboys also lost wide receiver Michael Gallup for the season with a torn ACL suffered on a touchdown catch in the second quarter. Texas A&M added to their stacked number 1 rated recruiting class with their 4th 5-star recruit yesterday. Linebacker Harold Perkins announced his decision to pick the Aggies at the Under Armour All-American game, and Perkins is the 5th highest ranked recruit on ESPN's Top 100. Only Alabama has more 5-star recruits this class. And the UIW men's basketball team picked up a win against Dallas Christian College 90-45 to take a win into the Southland Conference preseason tournament this week in Katy. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
Nigel, you look filthy. What are you covered in?
This is the greatest quarter moon marketing idea.
Yeah, but you're getting funk all over my desk, Nigel. Did you fall in the swamp?
My name is Mike Robiel.
Mike who?
Robiel, as in microbial growth.
Folks, no one likes allergens, irritants, pollutants, and yes, disgusting microbial growth in your home's air.
Call us at 651-5899 and we'll install an air purifier directly into your existing AC system. You'll have cleaner air and it'll kill 99.8% of microbial growth.
And for a limited time with your air purifier purchase, you'll receive a free heat check of your system. It helps with allergies, asthma, and getting rid of all those nasty things that invade your home.
Like me, Mike Robiel.
Nigel, I don't know when you have time to come up with these marketing ideas.
Usually when I'm not working.
So between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., huh?
You know me so well. Give me a hug. Where you going?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M13229 DACLA 000743458.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations, so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I need postcards printed and designed. Oh, and a targeted direct mail campaign.
It's possible at Staples.
I need my presentation printed, bound, and perfect.
Also possible. Your local Staples store can help your business navigate the future of work with custom printed sales and marketing materials. Now get 25% off custom printed labels, postcards, flyers, brochures, and more when you spend $60 or more. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 1/29 in store only. See staples.com/print for details.
O'Reilly. Are your wiper blades chattering, skipping, or squeaking? Don't let streaks or smearing on your windshield compromise your visibility. When it's time to replace your wiper blades, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and see our selection. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades while you wait. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What are your 2022 business goals? Simplified IT? More security? Dell Technologies has the expertise to help you, from transforming your digital workspaces to providing comprehensive end-to-end IT solutions. Get high-performance computers featuring Windows 11 Pro with powerful hardware-based security and savings up to 45% during Dell's New Year event sale. Get special financing through Dell Financial Services. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
We've got this bowl, that bowl, and this bowl over here. It's bowl season. Let's get activated. Catch the 2021 bowl season presented by Ewok Kubota on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Everything's bigger in Texas. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This has been fun. The first show of 2022 about to be in the books.
Yes, sir.
This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star. My name is Michael Jimenez, joined by Rob Thompson. Betty White passed away this weekend. And that was one of the weirdest things. It was weird, man. But you know what? I enjoyed all the tributes to her. And last week, when I was on vacation, my wife and I had an Airbnb in Dallas. Guess what we watched? We watched The Golden Girls. This was about a week before she passed. We watched like 4 episodes, just kind of hanging out, watching Netflix in the Airbnb. Great show, man. Great show.
Golden Girls. I can sadly say I've never actually seen it.
Really?
But we lost Betty White. We lose John Madden and Dan Reeves, very quietly under the radar. We lost Dan Reeves over the weekend as well. It was 3 very respected. The world is not as nice a place today as it was
John Madden,
just a couple of days ago.
John Madden. What an interesting thing. I was talking about this on Twitter about how so many controllers of, like, you know, the PlayStation controllers were broken because of that game. You know, I remember my friends and I would get together, we'd play Madden, and we'd play for money. And of course, something would happen, something screwy would happen in that game, and someone would break the controller. It happened all the time.
You know, I had the privilege of working on the Madden franchise for several years and never actually met the man in person. I was in the same room with him a couple of times. But in the early years, it's legendary about how much of a role he played in the development of the game. He didn't mind having his name on the game, but it had to be real. It truly had to translate to him. And I think more than anything else, the legend of John Madden is defined by the guys that learn football. There's a lot of guys that know what a cover 2 zone is right now that would never have any idea. So we're a smarter football fandom now than we were before because John Madden decided he would make a video game, but it had to be real.
Absolutely amazing. He was the voice, the literal voice. And it was just one of those things where growing up, just that was it. I mean, that was NFL football. There wasn't a lot of games on ESPN. There wasn't an NFL network. It was Pat Summerall. It was John Madden. It was rest in peace to those two. But we have the Blitz coming back at 4:00 and a big
Huge
announcement
day
that we made this morning and earlier today in this show. Joe Reinagel joining the San Antonio Sports Star.
Yes, sir. He'll start today with Jason Minix, the Blitz, born anew as the San Antonio Sports Star. We endeavor to continue to provide you hyper-local, San Antonio flavored sports. And Joe's certainly part and parcel to who we are in this city with 25 years sitting on the desk there at Ken's. He's got a history with not only you, but he and Jason Minix worked years ago in that same building over at WOAI. Right? He is a long-term radio guy. We are so excited to have him. Do not miss the inaugural. It'll be today at 4.
Today at 4:00. I cannot wait. This has been Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star.
I can't wait to watch you guys play.
We're ready for y'all.
Let's go.
The NFL playoff picture is coming together.